Hi, my name is Vic. I'm from IdentityIQ's Identity Theft Restoration Department.
And I'm Chris. I am the assistant manager in the call center.
Today we are here to talk about the romance scam. Chris, I want to tell you what a romance scam is. So a romance scam, by definition, what it means is when a person or an entity assumes a synthetic ID, and they impose themselves to be them to scam people for either financial benefits or other financial gains through dating websites, social media platforms, and so on. The age group from 55 to 65 is where the majority of the romance scam happens. Do you want to talk about the recent case that we handled?
Yeah, so one of the most recent cases that we had, which is we had this lady who was very upset, had her whole family on the line with us. One of the biggest part of our job is to first try to make them feel that it's not as scary as it really is, because we are here to walk him through every single step and to really make sure they feel comfortable. So that's the very first thing we did with this case, made her feel like we are people she can trust and that we're going to take care of this. After reviewing further information, we did determine that unfortunately she was a victim identity theft, and that's where Vic came in.
It is really hard for us to actually get more details on a person that becomes a victim of a romantic scam because it's emotionally distressing, and the loss of finances is, it's a heartbreaking situation altogether. And we thank Chris and her department because they de-escalate it and bring the facts to us. That's when we start investigating things.
So Vic, what do you think are some red flags when it comes to romance scam?
The major red flag when it comes to romance scams is the fact that the scammer always open up the conversation be romantically entangled. Is the first thing. Second thing is they only share pictures. They never do a video chat or in-person verification for that. The third thing would be they would immediately ask you to take the conversation off the dating website into private chats and whatnot. Fourth would be that they would get mainly into the finances, start asking you for money through wire transfers, gift cards, through private transfer modes like Cash App, Zelle, just financially, focused on getting your money. Then the most important thing is they'll start asking you for your social security number, your address, where you stay at, even in some cases, like your W-2 or your tax ID number, and if you're a private business owner, your business locations and stuff. So these are some of the red flags, the most common red flags that we get to see when it comes to romance scams. They're always nice. They cater to your needs because they already did research on what you need. They already know who you are. They already know what you want, and they cater to your emotional needs. Basically, it happens in what I call in 4 phases. The first phase is where they introduce themselves to be this charming person, emotionally into you, cater to all your emotional needs. So
Catfish comes in, right?
That's true. That is very true. The second would be the phase where it's called the grooming phase. The grooming phase is where they actually gain your trust. They gain your 100% trust emotionally. The third phase is where they make you feel guilty, like telling about sad stories about their life, the loss of ex-wife, kids, whatnot, They try to get to your emotional side. Now, the fourth phase is what we call the hooking phase. So what happens during the hooking phase is, they make the victim tell an immediate. So these are the important signs, right? So they're always ready to meet you. Right? They're always ready to meet you. Like, I'm on my way in the airport, I'm just grabbing the baggage. At the very last second, something pops up and they can't show up. So they're basically very hesitant to show up in person or through a video chat. That's a huge, huge red flag. In the hooking phase, what they do is they convince you in a way to send some sort of money, right? Let's say $1,000. Now, you as a victim, you were 100% in love with this person or the synthetic person that they created.
Think it is.
Yes. They send you the $1,000, now they're hooked onto it. See, now they see it as an investment, as an emotional investment. They don't want to lose the individual, they don't want to lose the money, so they keep on sending it. So that's why these romantic scams are an alarmingly increasing rate. The FTC recently reported about $547 million of revenue loss in 2021. But let me tell you, FTC is not the only government organization that's conducting investigation. Most of the investigations are conducted by the FBI Special Wing, what we call as the IC3. That's more important because, IC3 reported a revenue loss of $2.1 billion. Now, keep in mind, these are people who actually report it. But I'll tell you from the casework that we do at IdentityIQ and the cases we have handled, Chris, you and me, we've seen a lot of elderly population where it's kind of embarrassing for them to share those details. So most of them don't even go reporting. There are no actual stats to the teeth, but you can get an idea. 2.1 billion revenue lost in 1 year. That's an alarming thing. The most important way to stop this is by educating yourself. We have tons of materials that we always post on our social media platforms here at IdentityIQ. Thank you so much for watching it today. And for any tips and future articles and case studies that we'll be more than happy to share with you guys, please go ahead and log in or watch or call us at IdentityIQ. We'll be more than happy to help you out.
Don't forget to subscribe below.
Give a thumbs up. Yes.